In the vast chambers of the Galactic Council, the air was thick with superiority and disdain. Representatives from dozens of species, beings with forms as varied as the stars they governed, gathered in a semicircle, their voices a cacophony of amusement. At the center of the room, holographic projections displayed Earth's predators. Lions prowling the savanna, sharks cutting through ocean currents, eagles soaring with talons poised for the kill. "They call these predators?" scoffed a towering reptilian delegate, its scales glimmering under the council's luminescent lights. "My homeworld's predators would reduce these creatures to prey in seconds." A ripple of laughter spread through the assembly, punctuated by the deep growl of an ursine creature that thudded its massive claws against the table in approval. Another delegate, an avian with feathers shimmering like liquid silver, tilted its head mockingly. "Lions? Sharks? Birds with claws? They're archaic. My species long ago engineered hunters that don't just survive, they dominate." The human delegation sat quietly at the far edge of the room. They were few in number, their presence overshadowed by the grandeur and size of their alien counterparts. The lead representative, a man with sharp eyes and an unreadable expression, leaned back in his chair. He said nothing, though his fingers tapped lightly against the polished table, as if counting the seconds. Beside him, a scientist with a faint smile adjusted the data pad in her lap, her gaze briefly flicking toward the holograms. The ridicule continued. A serpentine delegate hissed, "Earth is a planet of mediocrity. Its predators lack the ferocity to compete. Its people cling to primitive ideals. Even their so-called apex predators pale in comparison to what we've seen in the galaxy." The council erupted in agreement, voices rising as alien predators were described in vivid, horrifying detail. There were beasts that could spit corrosive acid, creatures with chameleon-like abilities to vanish into shadows, and predators with telepathic capabilities that paralyzed prey with fear alone. Each description seemed designed to highlight Earth's supposed inferiority. One delegate leaned forward, its translucent skin glowing faintly. "Perhaps Earth's predators are simply a reflection of its people, fragile, weak, and reliant on outdated instincts to survive." The laughter that followed was deafening. Still, the humans remained silent. The scientist adjusted her glasses, her expression calm. The lead representative finally leaned forward, clasping his hands together. His voice cut through the noise like a blade. "We appreciate your observations," he said evenly, his tone devoid of emotion. "And yet, I wonder how many of your predators still operate without your interference. How many rely solely on instincts, rather than enhancements or manipulation?" The room quieted, though the atmosphere bristled with tension. A delegate snorted, waving a dismissive appendage. "Irrelevant. Natural predators are obsolete in a galaxy where perfection can be engineered." The human smiled faintly, a glimmer of something unreadable in his eyes. "Perhaps," he said, his tone light, "but there's a certain purity in unaltered strength. A force that doesn't rely on enhancements, but on nature's design. Sometimes that's more powerful than you think." He stood, signaling for the humans to leave. The scientist followed, her datapad clutched tightly. As they exited, she whispered, "They won't see it coming, will they?" The representative didn't answer immediately. As the council's laughter faded behind them, he finally replied, "Not until it's too late." Deep within a secure human research facility, away from the eyes of the Galactic Council, a group of scientists gathered around a reinforced enclosure. At its center, pacing with an almost hypnotic grace, was a tiger. Its orange and black coat rippled with power, muscles coiled beneath its sleek frame. Its eyes, unblinking and piercing, locked onto its handlers with a mix of curiosity and calculated focus. "This," said Dr. Marlowe, head of the project, "is what they don't understand. They mock us because they see only size, speed, or brute force. But this is evolution's masterpiece. Perfect predator. It doesn't need enhancements or genetic tampering. It is the weapon." The team watched in silence as the tiger paused, ears twitching. In the next instant, it leapt toward the edge of the enclosure, claws raking against the reinforced glass. The sound reverberated through the room, a sharp reminder of its lethal precision. We've studied every apex predator on Earth, Marlowe continued, turning toward a holographic display of data. Sharks have their stealth and sensory advantage in water, but they lack adaptability on land. Lions have strength and pack strategies, but they're vulnerable alone. Bears are powerful, but their aggression often blinds them. The tiger? The tiger is a solitary hunter. Stalks, waits, strikes. No wasted energy, no unnecessary movements. It doesn't fight for dominance, it fights to kill. One of the junior researchers, barely concealing her excitement, spoke up. But even with all that, do you think it can hold its own against whatever they're going to throw at us? Their predators are engineered for war, not survival. Marlowe's lips curled into a knowing smile. That's exactly why it will win. They've engineered their creatures to rely on their enhancements, on predictable patterns programmed into their biology. The tiger is unpredictable. It adapts. It learns. And most importantly, it doesn't fear. The team spent weeks preparing. The tiger's diet was optimized for peak performance. Its enclosure expanded to simulate various terrains and obstacles. It faced controlled challenges. Drones equipped with energy projectors, mechanical constructs designed to mimic alien predators. Each time, the tiger adapted. It used the environment to its advantage, ambushing from unexpected angles, striking with calculated precision. But the project wasn't just about the tiger's natural abilities. Humanity's strength lay in its capacity to combine nature with innovation. Neural scans of the tiger's brain revealed patterns of decision-making and heightened responses to stimuli. Subtle enhancements were introduced, not to alter the tiger, but to amplify its existing instincts. Sensory inputs were sharpened, reaction times accelerated, all without compromising its innate predatory instincts. Marlowe observed the progress with quiet satisfaction. "We're not creating a weapon," she said one evening, speaking to her lead assistant. "We're unleashing what Earth already perfected. And in doing so, we're showing them something they've forgotten. Raw, unfiltered power." As the day of the demonstration approached, the tiger's enclosure was opened one last time. It stepped out into a larger arena, its movements fluid, its eyes scanning its surroundings with sharp intelligence. A low growl escaped its throat, echoing through the facility. "It knows," Marlowe said softly, watching the tiger. "It knows what's coming. And it's ready." The aftermath of the tiger's victory left the arena in stunned silence. For a moment, no one moved or spoke. The galactic spectators, so confident in their engineered champion, now stared in disbelief at the fallen predator. Slowly, murmurs began to ripple through the crowd, rising into a cacophony of shock and disbelief. High above, in the council's observation deck, the alien delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The serpentine representative who had mocked humanity earlier coiled tighter, its glowing eyes narrowing as it stared at the bloodied but victorious tiger. This is impossible," it hissed. "How could a creature so primitive defeat something so advanced?" In the control room, the humans remained calm. Marlowe observed the scene with quiet satisfaction, her gaze fixed on the tiger as it paced around its defeated opponent. The lead representative leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. "Not primitive," he finally said, his voice cutting through the room's tension. "Efficient." The council's presiding officer, an insectoid with crystalline wings, tapped its mandibles in irritation. "Explain," it demanded, its voice sharp and accusatory. Marlowe stepped forward, her tone measured but firm. "You rely on engineered perfection, on predictable enhancements that obey the limits of your design. Nature doesn't work that way. It creates resilience through imperfection. The tiger didn't need enhancements to win. It adapted. It found weaknesses and exploited them. That's something no amount of genetic tampering can replicate." The avian delegate, its feathers ruffled in agitation, interjected. "Adaptation? Instinct? That may have won a battle, but it proves nothing about Earth's strength." The human representative smirked. "Doesn't it? Your champion lies defeated, and the galaxy has witnessed it. Your engineered predators rely on strength alone. Ours rely on strategy, patience, and precision. The tiger isn't just a predator. It's a survivor. Just like humanity, the murmurs in the crowd grew louder as the realization sank in. The Galactic Empire, for all its advancements, had underestimated the value of unaltered nature and the raw power it held. On the battlefield, drones descended to retrieve the tiger, its victory clear. The galactic officials struggled to maintain composure as they deliberated on how to spin the outcome. The alien crowds were already beginning to whisper among themselves, their once unwavering belief in engineered superiority now shaken. As the tiger was transported back to its handlers, it turned its head, its amber eyes locking with those of the galactic officials watching from above. It was a silent, primal acknowledgement, a message that Earth's creatures, and by extension its people, were not to be underestimated. Humanity had proven its point. In a galaxy that prided itself on control and perfection, they had reminded everyone that true strength lay not in manipulation, but in the raw, untamed power of nature itself. The balance of power had shifted, and the humans knew this was just the beginning. As the humans prepared to leave, Marlowe glanced back at the arena one last time. "They thought we were weak," she said softly, almost to herself. "They forgot the oldest rule of survival. Never underestimate the hunter." The Galactic Council chamber was quieter now, its usual air of arrogance replaced by an undercurrent of unease. Delegates whispered amongst themselves, their earlier confidence shattered. The tiger's victory had done more than win a simple contest. It had challenged the very foundations of their beliefs. For centuries, the Galactic Empire had relied on technology and genetic manipulation to assert its dominance. Now, a creature born of unaltered nature had exposed the fragility of that arrogance. The human representative stood at the center of the chamber, calm and composed. He allowed the silence to linger, watching as the delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Finally, he spoke, his voice steady but carrying an undeniable weight. "What you witnessed today was not just a demonstration of Earth's predators," he began. "It was a reminder that strength isn't defined by the size of your claws or the sharpness of your teeth. It's defined by adaptability, by resilience, by the ability to overcome even the most insurmountable odds." The serpentine delegate, still nursing its pride, hissed softly. "You're suggesting that this victory means your species is superior?" The human smiled faintly. "Not superior, just different. You've perfected your predators through engineering, but in doing so, you've confined them to specific parameters. The tiger doesn't rely on programming. It learns, it adapts, and most importantly, it survives." The insectoid presiding officer clicked its mandibles, signaling for order. "What is your point, human?" it demanded. "My point," the representative replied, "is that humanity has always thrived on adversity. We come from a planet where survival was never guaranteed. Our predators, our ecosystems, even our own evolution, it's all been shaped by struggle. And that struggle has made us stronger." The avian delegate scoffed, but there was a trace of uncertainty in its tone. "And what does that mean for the Galactic Empire?" The human's expression grew serious. "It means that underestimating us or anything from Earth would be a mistake." He gestured to a holographic display that appeared behind him, showing images of Earth's landscapes, its predators, and its people. "We've spent centuries watching, learning, adapting, and now we're here, not to conquer, not to challenge, but to remind you of the strength that lies in what you consider primitive." The crowd in the chamber was silent, their earlier dismissiveness replaced by contemplation. The tiger's roar still echoed in their minds, a primal declaration of Earth's defiance. Marlowe, standing just behind the representative, stepped forward. "You've built an empire on control," she said, her voice firm. "But nature isn't something you can control forever. It evolves, finds a way, and so do we." The presiding officer regarded the humans with a mix of irritation and newfound respect. "And what do you intend to do with this newfound recognition?" The representative's smile returned, softer this time. We intend to remind the galaxy that there's value in what you've dismissed. Strength isn't always engineered. Sometimes, it's born from chaos, from the wild, from the will to survive. As the humans turned to leave, the delegates watched them in silence. The Galactic Empire had learned an important lesson that day, one they wouldn't soon forget. Earth was no longer a backwater planet to be mocked. It was a force to be reckoned with. And its people, its creatures, were the embodiment of nature's unyielding strength. Outside the chamber, as the humans prepared to return to their ship, Marlowe glanced at the representative. "Do you think they understand now?" "They understand enough," he replied. "And if they don't, well," he glanced back at the arena, where the tiger's roar still seemed to hang in the air. "They'll learn soon enough."